So I go in the office and she goes like, we cannot take you, right? Because you don't have the grades. And I remember I was like telling her, I'm like, no, like, it's okay. Like I played basketball and everything, like I at least deserve a chance. She was like, no. I took that point so personal because I was like, the school I've been in my entire life is telling me just because I have C's and D's, they're going to choose someone that is coming from outside. And
Hello and welcome back to Wiser Together. This is your host, Parmeet Kumar, with my brother and the co-host of this podcast, Anas Pasha.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, bro.
Bro,
what's up, guys?
Today, Today we're joined by a really good friend of mine. Last I saw him was back in high school. And I think it's been like almost a decade since I've seen him. He went from Pakistan to Dubai to do his high school, and then from there directly to New York. Right now, he is the VP in the management division at Goldman Sachs. We want to welcome Daniyal Siddiqui. How are you, Daniyal?
I'm good, boys. How are you?
Good,
Great.
good. It's
Everything
an honor
is
to have
good.
you.
Pleasure is all mine, man. Good to be here. Good to be here.
Daniel, what's up? How's everything?
Everything is good, man. Just, came back to Karachi 2 days ago from Istanbul. It's my birthday today, so just, glad to be here with you guys on the birthday, so might as well, best way to celebrate it.
Definitely. I was gonna say that right after that. It's such an honor for us that you're joining us on your birthday, and we want to wish you a happy birthday and an amazing year ahead. Before this, we were catching up as well, and it was just phenomenal to hear about everything that you were saying, all the things that you've achieved, all the things that you want to talk about in this podcast. And
Mhm.
I mean, may every birthday from here on out, take you a step ahead, gives you much more success, gives you much more self-reflection, and at the same time give us more amazing wisdom nuggets, because goddamn, you dropped a lot of wisdom nuggets,
Yeah.
and they were
There's
dropping right and left. Yeah, so
there's a lot of wisdom nuggets coming along, man, and on this podcast. Yeah, we'll drop some more. We'll drop some more.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to start right from the beginning, right? Starting
Yeah.
at Chapter, we all know it's a school in Karachi, Pakistan, not the best of schools, all boys school, right?
No, it's not
If
all boys.
I
no, it was cool. It was cool. Ours was cool.
Actually, my branch was all boys.
That's
Anyway, sorry, my bad.
Very,
Not the
very
best of
hot take.
schools.
Very hot take, man. Very hot take.
Very hot take, yeah.
That's how it is, man. We keep it 100 here. So, but anyway, I just wanted to see. The point I was trying to make was that how it is being brought up in that sort of environment, right? And before
Yeah.
we were catching up, I asked you, like, was this the plan all along to end up at one of the biggest firms, banking firms, getting
Yeah.
into banking? And you said, that was the plan all along. So how did you sort of navigate yourself through Chapter and all the stigmas around the society we live
Yeah.
in, and the things that were kind of holding you back there to ending up at the position you are today? Because I struggled a lot coming from sort
Me
of the
too.
same background.
Yeah, me too, man. So the thing was, when you're in high school, right? So you basically don't know. Basically, everybody thinks that you don't know what you want to do in your future. So people come along and they try to guide you in a way, and they're like, "Hey, man, like this is what it is for you, right? Like you should do this. If you stick to this is what it is for you." And even if you like go back to the teachings in school, right? The education system in Pakistan is not very, you would say, practical. Doesn't makes you ready for the practical world, right? They keep you
Yeah.
in a bubble. They keep you within the book. They keep you within a certain sentence in the book, and you have to accept that sentence that this is what it is. You cannot even question it, right? That's
Yeah.
what the thing is. So they don't give you a vision. So when I was in Chapter, everything was good. Okay, great friends, played basketball, great people. Everything was lovely. But why do you see a lot of people from Chapter, they left early or they went abroad? Because the thing was, the teachers were great. Okay, we should always value our teachers, right? They taught us what was supposed to be taught. But it's just the system. It's just a system. It's just the way you have to study. You have to study like past papers of like 10 years ago. Like, what am I going to do with
Yeah.
that? You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly. Like,
that entire system is so, how would you say, like you just have to memorize everything and you cannot question anything.
yeah.
Rata.
And that
This is
is
the word that we
rata.
use.
Yes,
Rata.
yes,
Memorization, yeah.
memorization.
See, I would say, like, honestly, the thing you mentioned, being a victim of the education system we have, I feel that this is like a global issue. Education is something that hasn't evolved much in the
Hmm.
past, 4, 5, 6, 7 decades, and we're being taught the same things again and again. And the biggest problem I have with the education system is, which is one of the reasons why I want to homeschool my children, my offspring, is that we study to get through exams. We don't study to learn something. And that is my biggest problem, right? Like you mentioned, past papers. If you want to learn something in your right mind, you're not going to sit down and study past 10 years, past papers, and just memorize them. Like you said, you're only doing that to justify a purpose, which is to
Hmm.
pass exams. But
Yep.
that's not why you study. You study to learn, to grow, have that. So it's that's my biggest problem. But then in Pakistan, in addition to that, there's so much other things holding you back, limiting your way of thinking, putting constraints and boundaries around how you can think, what vision
Yep.
you can put
Yep.
forward for yourself. So you sort of had this vision all along, or you sort of, when you went to Dubai, you want to
So
get out of that rut.
I had this vision since day one. And let me tell you an interesting story, right? In O levels, I wasn't a good student. I
Yeah,
wasn't getting A's. I wasn't getting A's. I was not even getting B's. Okay. It was like C's and D's. Okay. Because it was just not for me. Right. And
yeah,
everyone around me was getting A's. Right. They all got A's, B's. They're like, okay, man, like we're going for A levels. Like that's the caliber of achievement. Right. So here's the crazy side. I got like, I think like C's, D's, and O levels. Right. And in A levels, I was in the A levels head office, right? Not gonna take the name of the
Yeah.
headmistress, but yeah,
better
she
not.
was great lady, great lady. So I go in the office and she goes like, "We cannot take you, right? Because you don't have the grades." And I remember I was like telling her, I'm like, "No, like it's okay. Like I played basketball and everything, like I at least deserve a chance." She was like, "No." I took that point so personal because I was like, the school I've been in my entire life is telling me just because I have C's and D's, they're going to choose someone that is coming from outside. And they're like, okay, like he's going to get the chance and not him. And I still remember like everyone around me, right? At that moment, they were like, oh man, like he didn't get into the school, this and that, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, okay, fine. I was like, it's a moment in life, right? Maybe something better is written for me. And I'm so glad that that turning point happened in my life because, in the moment, sometimes you think that that's the best thing you're going to get, right? Like, for example, like getting that admission in my head at that point, I was like, okay, like this is something that I need to achieve no
Yeah,
matter what, right? Like you're after it. But as time grows and you look back, you're like, okay, some decisions that are taken or like some things that happen in your life, okay, maybe there's a tough time, but if you work hard, there's good times throughout. Life is all about struggle. But that was the thing. That point for me was the turning point, man. When they told me that, like, no, I was like, okay, fine. And then, after that, the whole game changed. I was like, okay, like now it's like time, like,
You took it a person like MJ in
yeah,
Last Dance. In
yeah.
last
yeah,
Yeah, because it pinched me, right? It pinched me, and it's good. Some things in life should pinch you because
yeah,
it brings out that extra drive in yourself. When everyone around is like, "Oh, like he's not gonna do anything," like what are you gonna do? Like you didn't get this, you didn't get that. Now when I sit here, everyone around me, I would say, Alhamdulillah, like did better, did way better, man. Now the
yes.
same people will come and ask you, like, "Hey, man, like how did you do this? Can you guide us?" But that's a great feeling. That's a great feeling because you yourself know the struggle. You're like, hey, I went through it, and the struggle changes you and it humbles you as well. Because then you're like, okay, like I might as well help someone because no one helped me. So I know what that person is going
Yes.
through. That's the thing. That's the perspective
yeah,
that changes.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I'm curious, like, did you ever get a chance to reflect back on why banking? Does it come from
Yeah.
like is your parents are a banker, someone
So
in your family?
my dad is in like fintech, basically back-end
Okay.
banking as well, right? So, but it has nothing to do with investment banking. He's more towards the consumer side, like providing
No, but
back-end.
when you're young, you can't get into the specifics of it. It's just
So the
banking.
thing with, yeah,
Professions
the
are
thing with,
very
yeah, but the thing is a lot of book reading. I used to love, I still read a lot of books. And a lot of the books that I read was related to my career, right? Like a lot of biographies, a lot of the ways you're supposed to be. That really changes you when you're young, right? When
yeah
you're like trying to come up, when you're trying to groom your mind in a certain way, you're trying to figure out things. And not a lot of people can give you a clear perception of what you're trying to know. So you basically join the its and bits together and be like, okay, like this is what makes sense to me. Like this is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. So it was books. Read a lot of books. Even in my free time, like I'm telling you, in COVID, when COVID hit, right, everything was slow. Nobody was going to the office, right? People really don't read newspapers these days. They're like, oh, we're just gonna go online and we're gonna like, just read it online and that's it.
no
I was
mainstream
I
media.
was reading newspapers. I have so many
Yeah.
newspapers in New York, because I was like, you need to have that habit. Like I used to read Wall Street Journal. I was like, at least they're telling a lot of things. The market was going ups and downs. What's coming along, but it all comes in research. Your career should be your passion, man. It's just
Yeah.
what you are. If you're doing something that you don't enjoy, then it's not your career. You're just doing it to just get through it, and that's
Means to
what,
an end.
yeah, means to meet ends or whatever you're doing. But your career should be your passion. It's always should
This
be like that.
what you were saying about reading the books and newspaper. This reminded me of like a video that I was watching from Jim Rohn. He's like one of the best salesmen of all time, and like he says that a person should focus more on themselves rather than on their jobs. It's fine, like you said, that if your career is your passion, you are working, but that is going to make you a living, that is going to
Hmm.
set you up for a decent life. But if you want a better life than that, if you want a better life for your family, and if you want to make wealth, the number one answer is personal development. It's about working more on yourself than your career. Now, I'm not saying that you work less hours or put in
Hmm.
less effort. It's just that it's in bits and pieces of time that you get from your work, from your career, you invest in yourself. And I believe how Parmeet asked you about this vision, about this journey, I think we have a clear answer. Like, you were not only just focusing on your work, on your education, but on the side, you were consuming these books, these knowledge. Before even starting the podcast, you were telling us about how you had all of these internships and stuff. So
Yeah.
guide us through that. And you use the word edge. What does that word edge mean, and how can one person have that edge in any field, in anything in life?
Edge comes from hard work. It comes from it comes within yourself, right? It's just so, for example, there's thousands of bankers out there. Okay. Thousands of people want to go into banking. Everybody gets a 3.8, 3.7 GPA graduating out of college, right?
Yeah.
Considering that you want to go into a high profile career, you need to have that GPA. But it's just the different things that comes with it, right? Even when you get the path, right? Let's say I was doing internships. It's about making connections. It's about hanging out with your boss. It's about telling him about your vision, what you want to do, telling him that you're hungry, that you really want this, right? Like you are made for this. It's just going an extra mile, going to like all the socials, socializing with people, talking to people, you know, basically if you put yourself as a brand out there, like you, for example, Anas is a brand. Okay, you are going to represent yourself better than anyone else can represent you. You're going to go out there and tell people that, hey, I am Anas, I want to do this, I want to do that. They're going to see your confidence. They're going to see, okay, this guy really wants it, right? That's the edge, man. And also knowledge, knowing about what you want to do. Okay, knowing about what you want to do. You
That's
just
very
know that,
important.
okay, this is the path. This is what I want to do. Not even the path, just the extra knowledge. Just the
Yeah.
extra knowledge that comes for your career. You should know all these things. And just going an extra mile, man, like you need to have an edge over that. Like you need to know the right guy in the right place. Know the right person here, the right person there. And they're all when it all mixes up, it really helps you. That's the edge. And just the personal
100%.
touch. In corporate life, you need that personal touch with people because there's thousands of people working. Okay. There's thousands of bankers working in one bank. There's thousands of people in one division, but it's that personal touch. Like after work, you don't have to stay till 8, 9 p.m. But one day, if you're going to stay till 8, 9 p.m. and have a little chat with your, managing director, CEO, whatever it is, and, show him like what you're actually about. He's going to remember that. He's going to be like, hey, like this guy's going an extra mile. He's like trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
To
made an
me,
impression with him.
yeah, you made an impression. You went an
He
extra
stood out.
mile. Yeah. And also, I was always in like a lot of extracurricular like things, right? Like I interned for the Republican National Committee, the RNC, the Republican
Okay.
Party. Yeah. So
Oh,
I
I did
interned.
not know that. Wow.
Yeah, I interned for them. I think when Donald Trump was running against Joe Biden in the elections, and I also met Joe Biden at the fundraiser in New York. I have a cool picture with him. Maybe I'll show
That's
you guys in
amazing.
that.
Joe
Yeah.
Biden
So
isn't
Yeah,
gonna.
we can for sure we can put that up.
Is he as boring in person
yeah,
as he is on TV?
yeah. I mean, like that guy at that time was really trying to fit in and selling people like the
Yeah,
idea of like how Democrats are
himself. Yeah,
basically. But I'm just saying
yeah,
like going the extra mile. I was in college, right? People were like, I've seen this guy here, seen this guy there, and it all helped. It all helped.
yeah.
It's
I
just
think
having an edge.
it's a very common knowledge going the extra mile, right? And everybody wants to, but it's just most people just want to do what they're required to do, right? Going that extra mile in their mind requires more mental effort than the job itself as well. If suppose the job they're doing is 100 miles, that 1 mile, to convince your mind to do that 1 mile is as effortful as those 100 miles. But if you really, really, thing you mentioned was if you really deep down know what you want to do, you have a vision and you're willing
Yeah.
and able to achieve that vision, you will find a way. No matter
Hmm.
how good or bad
Absolutely.
you are at something, you'll find a way. And a lot of that comes from, going that extra mile. So that's quite interesting. What's fascinating for me is, Daniel, I haven't met a lot of people who are like genuinely passionate about banking or doing a corporate job, right? So I want to understand, does money play a role here?
No, it's money comes. Okay, so here's the thing, right? If you're putting in 10, 12 hours into something, okay, you're passionate about it, you're working towards it, okay. Even in banking, some people don't really get the edge, okay, because they don't know how to get the edge. But I believe that everything is up here. If you use this, if you condition this the way you want to condition it, it will work in the most magnificent ways that you can
Yeah,
possibly imagine. Our brain is the strongest thing, man. A lot of people don't know how to use it. They're like, they were not challenged themselves. You need to challenge yourself, right? You need to challenge yourself. You need to be like, hey, what if,
man.
okay, this is tough for me, but what if I want to do this, right? What if I want to do this? And if you really want to do this, you can condition your brain and you can do it, right? A lot of people will say no. They'll be like, it's too tough. Can't do it. Don't do this. Don't do that.
It's supposed to be tough. It's
Why
supposed to
why are
be
you
tough.
working? Why are you working in banking? Isn't it tough? Isn't it long
Yeah,
hours? Isn't it this? Don't you have a life? But I'm just like, hey, I have a perfect balance. I have to
yeah.
be at work at 8 a.m., but I wake up at 5 a.m. I go to gym 2 hours before office. You doing any job in the world, you should have 2 hours when you wake up in the morning. That really
100%.
helps.
I agree.
Yeah, really helps
That's a
you.
work-life balance,
You have
right?
a great day. Yeah, you have a great day. You shouldn't wake up 30 minutes before you have to clock in, have breakfast, and you rush out half asleep.
Right,
That's the
right.
wrong way of doing it.
You
But
have no
I'm just
space
saying,
to think,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. A lot of people, so back to your question, does money play a role? The answer is that if you're working this hard and your quality of life is not improving, it's not worth it, right? Money does play a role. Financial stability does play a role. Without financial stability, a man is weak. He's weak.
A
Okay,
hundred
it's
percent.
it's
It's like a
it's just
basic need, right?
it's a basic need, and plus it's a phenomenon that is also set, and it's just a phenomena that we have to accept, right? Like you'll see, like a lot of guys these days, right? It's a wrong perception. Okay, they go up to a woman and they're like, what do you have to offer that I have to do all this for you? Okay, reverting back 10 years, right? Look at our parents. Look at our parents, okay? Like my mom worked. My mom is a doctor, right? She worked. But the perception of being a strong man was that you have to provide for your family. You have to be stable. You need to take certain decisions in a direction that is going to benefit your family as well. You need to
Yeah.
have savings. You need to
Yeah.
have that financial stability. Otherwise, you're just a weak man. And a person who doesn't have that, he's a disturbed person. He's going to be like always here and there. And financial stability comes with time. It doesn't comes overnight. Okay, like you have to work towards it. But yes, it's a need. It's a need. You know, in the future, we're all going to have kids. We're going to have wife. We have to provide for them. Yeah, I would love to give my kids better education than I had. But that requires financial stability. It comes with it. Money does play a role in life. A
Yeah.
lot of
It plays a role for sure. But I was trying to get at, like, you know how, like, for example, does it play a role up until some point? Because now you're very much financially stable, right?
yeah, but here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. You should never chase money. You shouldn't
That's
chase
what I'm
money.
trying to understand. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
understand from you.
It's
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
never chase money. Chase the passion. If you're gonna do something 100% like from your heart and your mind is into it, you're gonna
Yeah.
see that things are gonna start developing your way. But if your heart and mind are not into it,
100%.
not gonna
Exactly
happen.
what
Not
I was
gonna
trying
happen.
to.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because you really want to get like into something that you really wanted bad. You know what I mean? Like you
Because
want
money
it
can only
badly.
push you so far, you know.
A lot of
Money
people
can
are
only
there with a
push
lot
you
of
so
money and they're not happy because they're like, okay, like I don't
Yeah.
have this, I don't have that, and they're just like,
That's,
okay, like what am I supposed to do now? But never chase
yeah.
money. Chase the passion. Money
Yeah.
comes along the way. If you put in your heart and your mind into your passion, everything flows through. You know.
Yeah, 100%. So, Daniel, you said like you knew this all along and you wanted to be here. And so, how does life look like from here? What's the end goal? Where do you want to see that passion go? You know, what's the end? There's no end goal, I suppose, but you know, what's the ultimate accomplishment, or where do you see yourself going? Because you're already at a pretty honorable and privileged position financially as in your career. You know,
Yeah.
pretty fit, pretty stable, pretty balanced, have a good work-life balance. So, what's the goal from here?
What's the goal? It doesn't stops, man. The work doesn't stops. I wanna open up a venture capital firm. You know, I'm really into genomics sector, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar with genomics. It's
Yeah, could you
basically
Yeah.
could you no run us through
so
that?
so it's
Yeah.
basically you know artificial intelligence used to detect cancer, diabetes in a person
Oh,
at an
okay.
early stage. Okay, so they're
Yeah.
doing testings out in India. They have labs. They have labs in US as well. They're doing those testings. So a lot of biotech startups are coming along the way where they're like, you know, they want to get into genomics, like early detection of cancer, diabetes. And what's crazy is that after certain amount of years, like right now they're working on it, like private medicine, right? Medicine is that the doctor or like the artificial intelligence software is gonna do the whole examination
Exactly.
of your body, and then
Okay.
it's gonna tell you that okay, you have symptoms of this possible disease in let's say 2 years, right? So what they're trying to do is that to treat that at an early stage, they're gonna make a customized medication that is fully just for you, your body type, your blood type, and like whatever your
Wow.
body can handle, not generic medication. Right now, we're
Yeah,
in
private. Yeah.
generic
Yeah.
medication is basically being used right now. What we take, like let's put in like Panadol, it's a generic
Yeah.
painkiller.
For everyone. Yeah. It's general.
Yeah, so private medicine is like they're gonna be like, okay, they're gonna make like a painkiller that is suited for your body, you know, your
Yeah.
type of blood, your DNA, your body can handle it, and it can treat that certain disease that is possible in like 2 years. So I'm really getting into that. Want to raise a fund, want to open a VC fund that invests in biotech and also fintech as well, like other artificial intelligence stuff. So I've been researching about this for 3 years. Okay, the whole genomics thing. because it came along early in 2017, 2018. Startups around New York and in America
And
started
we're
pitching.
hearing it about right now, like recently, I would say right after ChatGPT. So
Yeah.
that's how
Yeah,
it blew up.
Actually,
yeah.
Roger was doing some research on this as well. He's
In,
another one of the
in,
guests that came on. He was,
okay.
yeah, exactly. He was building this sort of AI thing that would detect cancer and other kind of illnesses early on through
Yeah, so
through scanning and stuff.
I
I'm
wanna ask both of you, like, since you guys have like this idea of fitness, like which is encompassed in your daily routine. So based on these developments, based on this technology, like, how important is going to be taking care of ourselves in the future as well, using these advantages that we're going to have, that, let's say, like our parents before us or generation before us didn't have.
Daniel, you go first.
so I would always say that it's better to treat something in the natural way, right? Because if you're dependent on medication, it sort of affects the body, right? Like let's take gym for instance. Like a lot of people rely on supplements. They want to rely on mass building supplements or whatever. But the better way is that you constantly eat the right thing, and over the years you're going to see the results, and that's the real strength. That's what I did, and I personally believe in that. A lot of people, they would take supplements, and they suffer with a lot of aftershocks of that as well. So the natural way is always the best. You need to toughen your body up. Like you need to really condition your body in a way that, and your health as well, that it survives through the worst. Like building immunity comes from eating the right thing. You eat your ginger tea, drink that. Ginger, honey, cinnamon, basic things. Right? It, it,
Absolutely.
it helps you. It helps you. You eat your oranges in winter,
It,
you're
uh,
fine.
it tastes shitty, but it
Yeah,
is
but
what
you
it
have to
is. You
do
have
it.
to swallow
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you have to do it. But that's the best way. But when you think from a capitalist way and a business way, you sort of have to accept what's happening in the surrounding, right? Like the people are always going to need that, right? So from the business point of view, yeah, like me getting into that sector, yes, like it's from a business point of view. Personally, I would say shouldn't depend on medication that much. It honestly affects you in the long term. Like you always use the natural ways. Like max you'll do is like get a painkiller. Nothing more than that. People
Nothing
really
more than that.
depend
Yeah.
hard. Yeah, like you can treat the flu by just eating like what is that Joshanda that we drink? It's the best thing.
Yeah.
I always drink it. And I'm fine the next day. Don't really need to
Absolutely.
it takes a longer period, but it gives you, it keeps your body good. Because if you take like, let's say, what's that? Antibiotics, it affects you. It really affects you. It makes you weaker. You sort of like
You
rebounding from the.
start building a dependency on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eventually, and then it'll
yeah.
come to a point where your body doesn't have that immunity to deal with it yourself, because you've always been relying on something external. So it does need that external help to fix that. Immunity isn't trained to fix it itself,
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
It's what we see with like men, like using exogenous sources of testosterone as well. And I was talking about this to a friend, like how the rate of testosterone is, like decreasing day by day, and year on year, men have now like so much less of testosterone than they used to. I can't remember the number, and it's with these medicines as well. Now they're moving into these exogenous things, and then your body can't produce natural testosterone, and that is just like we're moving towards chaos basically in the future.
Yeah.
I don't know how men are going to be, because I totally agree with you. Like everything that you said in terms of mental stimulation, in terms of physical stimulation, in terms of basically hardening ourselves, this is what is lacking, this is what is missing, and even so more in our home country, unfortunately. I mean, these ideas, the ideas that we're talking about, the conversation that we're having right now, lots of people aren't having. Lots of people aren't even at the like the precipice of this. How do we
Hmm.
change that? How do we bring these conversations to them?
Awareness. We need to have awareness in the
awareness, yeah,
society as well, because
yeah,
in the
100%.
society in Pakistan, there's no awareness in the society. Okay, they just want to accept what the third person is going to tell them, right? Like if
West,
Can I
something.
just interject for 1 second?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
every time all three of us are outside, right? I'll be real for a second, and every time I'm talking about these things to my friends or to an acquaintance and etc., they just say, oh, what do you know? You're living outside. You don't know the struggles of here. You don't know how we're carrying out our daily things and yada yada yada. How do we answer that? How do we tell them that it's the same universally?
It's
What's
the
the
same
best
thing
answer for that?
universally. You tell them that your mind is not ready to accept what is out there. You just want to be in a bubble. They are in a bubble. Sorry to say, not to offend anyone, but they are living in a bubble that they feel comforted in. And they would justify it to you saying that, oh, because basically that's like self-defense coming right off the bat. They don't have
Yeah,
any other
yeah. It's
answer.
very natural. It's very natural. Yeah,
They're like, oh, like, what do you want? Or like,
yeah,
we know
yeah.
more. Like, because when you come, you notice more, right? Because you actually notice that, like, hey, nothing is changing. Like, for example, if you come to New York and you tell me that this is wrong, man, this shouldn't be happening, maybe I wouldn't notice it because I'm like used to it, what it's happening there, right? But you would tell me that this is wrong, this shouldn't happen. Then I would be like, okay, like an outsider is coming and telling me that this is wrong. But then again, outside, people have this habit of accepting it. Here, they don't want to accept. They're like, oh, like, what do you know? Like, you don't know
It's a
anything. How
battle of
can
the ego.
battle of
Battle
the
of the
ego
ego.
and the state of the mind. They don't want to challenge
Yeah,
themselves mentally as well. They just want to be in a
yeah,
bubble. Want to be in a bubble. Like if there's a lot of people here that that have done hard work and they're like at a level, right? But the basic perception that was around us since the school days, right? Like my family also has a family business, but I had a drive that I was like, okay, should go out there and make a name for myself. Like at the end of the day, yes, like have to handle this as well, but you should have your own identity. In Pakistan, if you sit with anyone, they're gonna first conversation that is gonna start, hey, do you know what my dad does? You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
the way they approach the
No,
conversation.
it's
It's
like, yeah,
never,
do you know who my dad
yeah,
is?
who my
Yeah.
dad is. Like, okay, bro, like your dad did
Should
it.
be should be who are you?
Who are
Who are
you
you, Mr.
exactly? Who are
X, Y,
you
or Z? Yeah.
exactly? Who are you? Like I always tell them, I'm like, who are you?
I'm a
You know?
I
mistake.
mean, that's the thing, guys. That's the thing. Like, if a person wants, they can. There is. I mean, we're talking about diet, right? And we were also mentioning like how devastatingly beautiful Pakistan's diet is, but at the same time, the
Food,
same
yeah.
fruits and vegetables and everything,
It's
the
good.
herbs and everything are available. Everywhere. The same
Yeah.
books. I mean, in the age of technology, everything is just a click away. Newspapers are there. Like even
Yeah.
as little as our podcast can derive value, this is also here as well. So there is no really excuse in this day and age in
Yeah,
terms of taking care of your health, taking care of your mind, taking
Yeah.
care of your spirit, and just moving forward. So yeah.
I'll
you
take the
know,
example of the food, right? The food.
yeah,
Okay, let's say you have your basic chicken. Okay, if you eat grilled chicken, rice, and your basic potatoes and like boiled spinach 6 days a week, right? Like you eat simple food, you're good. Okay, but if you're gonna twist that chicken, add bunch of oil, bunch of spices, and cook it that way, then like it's your personal choice then. Okay, it's not
yeah,
someone else telling you to do this. It's your personal choice. Like a lot of my friends ask me that, how do I stay on a diet? I stay on a diet. If your diet is good, you feel good the next day.
hundred
Yes.
percent, 100%.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
feel good the next day. If you eat good throughout the day, you drink a lot of water, you have a lot of energy.
it's
You
a
have a lot
hack.
of energy. Yeah, it's a hack.
Yes.
People
Yes.
understand. People here are like, oh, I want to eat that burger, man, today. Like, okay, like eat that burger. Eat it once a week. Okay, like it's fine. I love burgers, but you have to balance it out. It's on you. Like what you put in your body is going to react that way. Treat
Yeah,
food like fuel. If you treat food like fuel, it's a different world. Because if you know what you have to eat, like for example, yesterday for lunch, right? I was like, okay. My mom was like, hey, have biryani. I was like, I don't want to have biryani. Okay, I made protein bowl, right? Oats, 2 eggs, okay, protein powder, okay, put a little Nutella on the top, ate it. I felt
That's it.
full.
Yeah.
I took my protein
Yeah.
intake. I ate good stuff. I was energetic. I was fine. And I don't tend to eat out a lot, right? Like, okay, like eat out like once a week, twice a week. Even when you go eat out, you have a lot of options. You don't need to have junk.
yeah,
Eat your steak.
You know,
Eat your
you,
basic
you know, I'm
steak,
gonna
man.
I'm just gonna squeeze in and just offer like two hacks that I personally think that helped me as well in my journey, because I love food, like, I mean, who doesn't love food? But
Yeah.
for me thinking like this really helped. I saw my calories as like my daily allowance. If I am supposed to eat like 2000, then I'm like, okay, that's like the allowance that I have. Anything more than that is, like you said, that's my own decision, and then that's gonna like affect my next day, affect how I look, affect how I feel, affect how my gut is, etc., etc. But then at the same time, I started having this idea of ROI, like with everything. So I'm like, now if I am consuming that 2000, because we know like a freaking donut is like 600 calories, right? A Kit Kat bar is 250 calories, right? But what's your ROI from that? Like you said, like you had that bowl. Now you did feel satiated, that's fine. But you were also getting nutrition out of it. You were getting fibers, you were getting some important carbs, protein, this mineral, that vitamin. So that's how I started structuring my diet as well. I'm like, okay, if I am having like this grams of protein, this grams of carbs, and this much fruits and vegetables, my ROI from this should be like my 2000 calories should be maxed out. Now this might seem like a little like you have to plan or do this or that, but honestly the resources are so many that there are just so many
Yeah,
diet calculators out there. We'll put some up in the link as well, and then you can just simply, like, it's just going to take you 45 to 50 minutes, figure out the foods that you like, the
yeah,
fruits, vegetables, protein, etc., etc., and then you'll know based on your allowance how much ROI you're getting. And you're absolutely right. For me, I stopped eating carbs, and whenever, if I do, I try to eat it like once a week because of lifting, so that my glycogen reserves can, like, I can like have a good sense of lifting as well. But the next day I don't think clearly. My brain is a little foggy, and I don't think as positively as well. I don't know if that is with me or with everyone, but for me, that's a thing. If I'm just eating clean, if I'm just eating light, my God,
yeah.
I feel like air.
Exactly. Like a lot of people have a habit of eating late night, right? Like
Yeah.
they would have dinner, but then they would have something at midnight. Like for example, especially in our beloved country, right? Like you come here, the boys are like, hey, like we just had dinner, like, but let's just have like KFC at like 1 a.m. Okay, but
Oh yeah,
what I do is that when I know I'm gonna have that, I don't eat dinner. I don't eat dinner till 1 a.m. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have that burger. But it's on you. You need to
that's
know
a
your
decision.
body.
That's just,
Yeah,
Honestly,
dude. It's
balance is
that's
the name
just
of the
how
game.
I think as well. That's amazing.
yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
people ask me
It's
like, how do you stay consistent with gym? It's on you. I'm not gonna tell you that go to the gym, bro. They're
Yo,
like
I
calling me.
gotta, I gotta again. Sorry, interject. I asked you as well. I was those guys because I want to talk about your Insta as well. It's just made, it's just curated so nicely, and it does give you inspiration. So I asked for me, like, Daniel put his story up. He does so very like less often, but he put himself up. He looked in great shape, and I was like, bro, like, because I want to learn as well, like, like, ask questions. I was like, what's up? What do I do? He mentioned everything, but then he also mentioned one more thing. He's like, don't smoke.
Consistent. Yeah, don't smoke.
Yeah. He was like, don't smoke. I was like,
Don't smoke.
okay, first of all, I don't even, but like, okay, that's a good thing because a lot of people do, and this and that. But that smoking point, I think, was like a referral towards your decision. If
Yeah,
you are choosing to smoke, and it's not even smoking, it can be anything as well, like you're drinking or etc., etc., right?
any,
So you
yeah.
have like, you have like a vice. So I guess what Daniel was trying to say is, like, like, if you have that vice, it's your decision, but you're not going to look like Daniel then, right?
no, it's no, let me tell you my fitness journey, right? Like when I started the fitness journey, I used to smoke. I used to smoke. Okay, I used to smoke cigarettes, but I quit. Okay, and I went out running outside in cold New York weather every morning at 6 a.m. because I wanted to condition my lungs first, get my breathing normal, ran on treadmill, ran outside, got my breathing normal, then got into lifting. Because if your breathing is not normal, your muscles are not getting the oxygen, you're gonna get cramps. You're gonna get cramps. A lot of people get cramps, right? They get backaches, this and that because they
Yeah.
smoke. So if you're smoking, you know what smoking actually does? It minimizes the amount of oxygen that goes into your blood and in your body. Like your blood flow basically messes up because of smoking. Your blood doesn't reaches the right parts. So when you're lifting, your blood flow is good. So right after lifting, you're like smoking, then you're going back to like you're going from 90 to like 10. That's not like how are you gonna
Yeah.
recover? That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's
That's a
that's what I did, and yeah,
It's a common practice in Pakistan. After the gym, they just go smoke.
Yeah. No,
Daniel, I
before,
think both.
They're trying to
Yeah.
balance it out. Okay,
no,
I've
before
spent
gym
an
as well.
hour
Before,
before.
before gym as well. Before
I
gym as
feel,
well, I've
yeah,
seen.
yeah.
Daniel, so I think both Parmeet and I have the same question because this is the main theme of our podcast as well. Like, how are you overcoming your mind like this? Because my God, the things that you're talking about, these are not an average person does
We
not
can
do this,
relate,
and
yeah,
I'm
for sure.
and I'm personally blown away because like I knew you a decade ago, and I mean, of course, like things were back then how they were, but your journey has been so tremendous. So again, like I said, Parmeet and I have the both same question. Like, how is your mind? Like, how are you able to overcome this? Like,
The challenges
what
and
is
the things
stopping you?
that
What
hold
is
you
not
back.
stopping you? Like, yeah.
What's
There's a
stopping
fine
me
line.
from? There's a fine line. You need to draw the boundaries. You need to draw the boundaries. If you don't have boundaries in life, you don't know where to stop. You're not good, man. Like you need to know what you have to do, right? Like for
How do
example,
you do that? Like, what's the process? Like, what is the thinking? How do you do that?
What he's trying to
control.
ask is this, yeah, like how do you practice control? Is there any sort of thing you do
It's
to
just
train
in the
your
brain.
mind to be in control?
So like it, the basic thing is that you keep yourself in a bubble that is acceptable for you, beneficial for you. So you can build that bubble around your brain. Okay.
What does that
Wow.
look like for you? I totally
So
get it.
so
What
so
does that
you
Yeah,
look
can
like?
build
I
that.
can picture it as well. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you can build that bubble around your brain and you can make your brain function in the way you want to, right? So that's pretty interesting because I
wow.
know what I have to do, right? You have to go to work, you have to go to the gym, you have to eat clean, okay? You should know your limits. What's your bedtime? I go to bed at 10 p.m., okay, on the weekdays. Only on weekends I go out. On the weekday, I'm not staying up till 1 a.m. doing nothing. I hate that. I've set that rule. Even like when my friends want to come over on the weekdays, eliminating New York. Talk about being in Karachi. If my friends want to come over, I have a cut line. I'm like, it's my bedtime. I have to go to the gym in the morning. Good night. When you set those boundaries, people will start to listen. They will start to accept it. I have seen my friends change as well by seeing this in me. They were like, oh, if he can do it, then we can do it as well. There are
Yeah,
some people that won't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some people that are like, oh my God, how do you do it? What should I do? This and that. But again, I say, if you don't have mental clarity, if you don't have that mental clearness in your brain, you're not going to be able to do a lot of things. If you're going to keep like a fuzzy ball up here,
mm,
it's very
yeah,
hard to get confused. But it's all about priorities as well, man. It's all about self development. It's about like you want to bring the best out of yourself. If you want to
yeah.
bring the best out of yourself, you need to do certain things. You need to build that bubble around your brain.
But
That's just
How do you build that mental clarity, right? It's once you have that clarity, I suppose everything becomes a bit more easier and
yeah.
rather straightforward. You see things for what they are. You see your priorities straight up. You see the crap for what it is, and you don't give it much attention or energy. And
Hmm.
that all comes from having that clarity of mind, right? But how does
Yeah.
one get there? And was that something that came naturally to you, or you had to work towards it?
So what's the best way to do it is to have a good circle. The circle that you hang around with, right? If they're not talking about these things, helping
Hmm.
you groom yourself, not
Yeah,
pointing out your mistakes. Like me coming along, I had people in my life that used to tell me straight to my face, if you smoke, you're gonna die. You're gonna die young. They used to tell me to my face. They were like, you need to stop doing that. And so
and then
it's
you
the
question
circle.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the circle as well. If your circle is not 100% real with you, they're not talking self development, they're not talking, how you can improve yourself, they're not talking mental awareness, bringing the best out
Yeah,
of yourself.
yeah,
Circle matters. Circle really matters. Even if you have that one friend in your life or two friends, if the level of conversation doesn't involve these things,
I
all
swear.
of you are not going to grow. You all are going to be in that bubble. So it's always also helpful to sit around seniors, right?
yeah,
Senior
yeah, for
people.
sure.
Senior people, you spend a lot of time with senior people. As you grow, you start to spend time around senior people because you get that mental stimulation from like, okay, like I'm hearing what I want to hear. Sometimes you don't get what you want to hear from your circle as well, but you get to hear it from like people that are like, senior than you, that have more experience in life. So you tend to question them, and you should question. Questioning questioning really gives you the answers, man. If you're gonna sit quiet
Yes,
and be
sir.
like, just accept everything, that's very easy, right? That's very
Yeah.
easy. For example, if somebody comes and tells you like, hey, let's take COVID vaccine for instance, okay? They come and tell you you need to get this shot. Okay, you need to get this shot, but let me do my research. Let me find out like what it actually is for myself. So questioning really helps, you know? And it's just a circle. I feel like
Uh,
circle is everything.
Absolutely. I'm just gonna like present like my elaboration on
Sound,
this
yeah.
as well. Like this questioning thing, it's just something so obvious. It's just something a person should do, but they don't. For example, you go to a supermarket. Man, people are so dumb. You want to know like where the honey is? They're gonna go. I bet you they're gonna go find the honey themselves rather than ask the guy in charge, like the aisle manager or anyone, like, hey, where's your honey? Where's this? Where's that?
Yeah.
They're just going to do that. And this is what you talked about seniors. This is what you talked about books. I feel like doing these things is like stepping on the shoulder of a giant. It's like
Hmm.
increasing your horizon. It's like seeing into the future because they've spent their lives. They've spent so much time and energy doing this. And for what? For you to just come and ask them so that they can tell us, when, man, everyone loves to help. And the
Yeah.
seniors that you talked about, like, they're what they want to do. They want to depart you with their wisdom. They would love to. Uh, Everyone likes to, like, fill others' cup as well, especially when they have something good to offer. Just these little things, like, I mean, hearing from you, this is how I recently started function, but hearing this from you, this just reaffirms my faith and my like process of how to live life as well. It's just these are some little life hacks
Yeah.
that can just help you tremendous. It has this exponential growth attached to them.
Yeah, I want to
Definitely.
add as well a bit to that. The two things you mentioned, if questioning, like being curious, we've said this time and time again on this podcast as well. Being curious, questioning, if you're looking for answers, rest assured you're going to find them at some point, right? And the thing you mentioned, obviously having your surrounding, everybody's heard this saying that you're the average of five people around
Hmm.
you. And me and Nas talked at such a length about this that we did not have those kind of surroundings, and we were really craving those. We realized
Yeah.
this, that we need to have those kind of surroundings, and Wiser together came to life partly because of that, because we had to wanted to have those kind of conversations, and and build that kind of surrounding and community, and have that conversation energy going, that allows you to uh, uh, have that sort of self reflection and access to different perspectives and things that you could work on. So I think these two things are absolutely essential, and you said it.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah, look at
also
I
gives you
can
mental stimulation, man.
Yeah.
hundred
It's
percent. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that's what it is about.
Daniel, just I'm gonna diverge away a little. I just want to ask one thing for all the guys listening to this out there, and or for the girls as well, if they want to give some tips to their
Well, the
guys as
cat
well.
dance and the man dance.
Yeah, give us because your Instagram is just lit, right? Like I was just scrolling by it. It's just of you and your shot in suits and at like very cool places. So I just want to ask like your three tips for men styling, men grooming.
Um, Keep it simple. Be elegant. Don't wear flashy things. Okay, just stick to the basics. Your basic navy suits, your basic button downs, your basic brown, black, blue sweaters, your basic everything. Just be elegant. But elegance just does not come with just clothes. Yes, it comes with clothes. A nice dressed man makes an impression. Okay,
But you
let's
gotta
be
have a
honest.
personality to back it up. If
You
you're
need to
talking
have a
shit and you're
personality
wearing
to
a suit,
so confidence that comes in confidence, right? You can see
yeah,
a man wearing a suit, and you can tell that like okay he's wearing a suit, but the confidence is a bit shaky. But you would see another man wearing a suit, his chest is out, shoulders are pumped, right? He's wearing a suit, he has confidence, and he's carrying himself. That's a different thing. It's also about persona as well and personality as well. Like I'm just saying, like especially in New York, if you don't dress well, you basically don't catch a lot of attention. Like a nice
Hmm.
cologne, nice dressing. You
yeah.
wake up, you do your basic stuff. It really helps. And I also love photography, so I really like capturing things from an angle.
Oh yeah,
That's always
you're yeah. That's just given. That's just the shots that you
yeah.
capture. I'm like, how is that even possible on an iPhone? I'm like, is this guy using something else?
No, it's an iPhone. It's an iPhone. It's an iPhone.
Yeah.
It's
But I
iPhone,
would,
low exposure.
yeah, I would say that persona, personality, these things always end up overpowering how you look. If you
Yeah,
look at the most successful people, if you know Gary Vaynerchuk, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, all of these guys, they wear the most basic of clothes, but it's what they bring to the table, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's their and
They're just themselves. You're just yourself. You just have to be yourself. If you start copying everyone, you're gonna be like, okay, like
yeah,
what's going
hundred
on? Like,
percent, hundred
why is
percent.
this happening? But
I think
it's yeah, just
for sure, for sure.
keep
I'll
it
ask
simple,
you
keep it classy.
Keep
simple
it
and
classy, yeah,
classy,
for sure.
as bankers do. I'll ask you last question that what does success or happiness mean for you?
Success and happiness mean for me peace,
Uh,
peace, peace, self
And
satisfaction.
where does that peace and self satisfaction come from?
Peace and self satisfaction comes from within your decisions in life, what you have done, what type of actions you're taking. If you're taking wrong actions, you're not gonna have peace. If you're doing the wrong things, you're not gonna have peace. Like
So
for
if
example, all of us took wrong actions, right? In our life. We didn't have peace. We were always worried about it.
Yes.
So peace is from the actions you take, how you make your life, how you
hmm,
approach things. So I think success is peace. A lot of people have success, they don't have peace, right? They don't
and
have
that's not
that peace.
success, what are you
Or
working
that's
for
not
then?
success. What are you working for then? So peace is
Yeah.
the ultimate answer. That you sit
So
on a chair alone in a room and you feel peaceful and you feel self-satisfied. You're like, okay, you're happy. Like it's
and
good.
that usually comes from making decisions
Yeah,
that are in most cases hard, right? Those Making those hard decisions to simplify, right? Because the
yeah,
simple decisions, everybody's making them, and they're mostly along the lines of chilling, having a good time, having a good meal. I just
hmm,
go out
yeah,
and explore. You'll see
yeah,
most people at a club, but you'll only see two people in the gym at midnight. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. It's if everybody's doing the same thing, then that's what they will
yeah,
achieve, right?
yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
you
And,
gotta
and and always keep your life simple. Like be in tough situations, solve them,
but keep it
but
simple. Yeah.
but keep it simple. If you
Yeah.
start to complicate things, that affects the peace, that affects your state of mind as well. So things should be straightforward, simple. Nothing should be here and there. So that's the thing. That's
Yeah.
that's the major thing. If like success is
It's about
peace for
balance. Yeah.
me, yeah, just peace, man. Peace is everything.
No, you genuinely, honestly seem like a very mellow, peaceful, down to earth, easygoing person, and it's very self-contained and not easily,
I was
moved
about
by.
to say that, I was about to say that, like, a person who is, like, like peaceful and who is successful and who knows his stuff, they sound like this.
Yeah,
They sound like this, they look like this, and you can say that, like, their integrity is high because they know the hard work they've put in, the decisions that they thought that they would make, they're doing, and this is the result. And it's like, what Daniel said, like, then there are, on the other hand, there are people who are looking for external validation. They're all over the place, like, they look a certain way, they talk a certain way, and then they're always
change
just trying to
colors with the
penetrate.
situation.
Yeah, they're always trying to penetrate that mental bubble that Daniel was talking about. And honestly,
Yeah,
I'm just so happy because in this journey that we're taking, Parmeet and I are taking of Wiser together, to come across people like
like
you,
yourself.
and above all, like, a person that I knew like a decade ago, and now, like, I'm able to reconnect, and maybe we'll meet as well. Like, you come here
Yeah,
and there, so maybe I come over there as well, and now Parmeet as well. So, like, this relationship as well that we have, and because we're all three of us, instantly when we connected, like, it was just like we were on the same wavelength. And
Yeah,
there's just so much that I'm taking from this, and it's the decision that, like, that we've taken to help build a community like this, to
hmm,
have these like-minded people. And it's like, what you said, that this is our responsibility. We've done this, we've been through the process, we're still in the process, we've achieved some sort of success, but we're not going to stop. This is not where we stop, this is where we just begin. So I just wish you good luck for I'm so sorry, I'm going to butcher it. Gemonics, yeah, this thing that you
genomics,
that you
genomics,
genomics.
let's
germonics.
just Gem- No, man, I wish you the best, and like it
Thanks, man.
just yeah, man, like I love the last answer that you gave about happiness and success, and I'm just so happy to reconnect through this, and what an honor.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys. Yeah,
Honestly,
it
from
was
my
amazing.
side as
But
well, sorry, go on, go on.
I would like to add one thing, right? I just
Yeah.
wanted to add like just one thing, last one thing. You go into a room of people, the most successful person in the room is gonna be silent. You won't even know he's there.
Yeah.
That's what success is. That is success. You don't need to even
You don't
speak.
need to shout it out loud and tell everyone.
You're
Everybody
just in
knows.
silence. You're there. You don't even bother if
Your
people
aura is
notice you.
enough.
Yeah. But people notice you. Your presence is still felt. People are like, "Oh, he's
Yeah.
there."
Yeah.
But that's
That's
that's what I
beautiful,
want.
man.
That's what you need to achieve. That's the goal. Yeah.
Honestly, from my side,
Silent success is the best thing. You're just
yeah,
there in silence.
silent killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, and it's just that people speak for you. You don't even need to. You don't need to say you're a successful person. You don't have to tell them that you're successful. People
Yeah.
would know already through your
Hmm.
presence, your aura, your body language, or
Yeah.
the things you've accomplished. But I just want to say as well. I want to tell everyone as well. I hadn't known Danial. We just met today, had a 30-minute conversation. Instantly, we were talking about the same thing. Everything he said, I could relate to it. And
Absolutely.
from what I've seen, like you seem like someone who's had the time and put the effort to reflect deeply on yourself, consider the things. Like you have a very your mind is pretty clear. I've seen that your priorities are aligned. The things that you want to do, the things you say about, you know what success means for you. You know what you want to do. So that is the kind of energy that we feel attracted towards as well, and
Mhm.
really admire and want to bring on more and more to this podcast. So from the whole wiser community and from Anas and from myself as well, thank you a lot for being a part of this, and hopefully,
Yeah.
you'll do great things, and we'll definitely have you back at some point, and
Yes.
genuinely would love to honestly meet in person as well and exchange that
Yeah.
energy. So
Pleasure is all mine, boys. This was amazing. Yeah. Really enjoyed the conversation.
well,
Yeah.
and
That's
lastly,
definitely.
again, I just wanted to thank everyone for being a part of this and joining us till the end. Please support us in any way you can. As mentioned before, we're just trying to get the conversation going. I'll add every Tanya's Insta handle and in the description as well, so people can
Hmm.
see the amazing things you're doing, and if they want to get some tips, advice, whatever it may be, get in touch with
Yeah.
you. They can. And yeah, that's pretty much it from us. So thanks again for joining us, and we will see you next
Yeah.
Sunday.
Hmm.
Bye bye.
Ciao, guys.
Ciao. Bye.